Question 5. Blues, Dragons, Ospreys and Scarlets are 4 Welsh rugby teams. Aled asked a group of 170 pupils which of these 4 teams they preferred. He then drew this bar chart to show the data that he had collected. So I'm just going to highlight some key bits of information. So there are 4 teams that's represented in this bar chart, and there are 170 pupils in total that he asked. Part A. Aled knew that 50 of these pupils said that they preferred the Blues. Complete the table below. So I have 3 gaps here that I need to fill in. I know because it tells me that 50 pupils or people liked the Blues in this bar here, and I need to say how many people like the Dragons, Ospreys and Scarlets. So if you notice, we don't have a scale on the side of the graph here, so that's what we need to work out. So this would be called the frequency, and frequency means how many people said they liked Blues and so on. So this is going up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. This is going up 10 squares. And it says that 50 people liked them. So I've got to share these 10 squares between 50 people to make each one even. So 10 squares shared between 50, well that's 50 people divided by the 10 squares. And that will tell me how many people each square is worth. So that's a good method for working out the scale in any type of graph. The total divided by the amount of spaces. So 50 divided by 10, so 1 square equals 5 people. To divide something by 10, it's got 1 0, I just take the 1 0 off. So that means that this starts at 0, that'll be 5, 10, 15, and the numbers go right next to the lines. 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, and that works out perfect. So now I can work out how many people said the Dragons. Just going to use a ruler to help me. Smack on the line, 35. The next one, again, the Ospreys is directly on that line at 45. And the Scarlets is right on that line at 40. So the examiner would want one mark for each, basically. But they will allow 1 mark if you don't have any of these. They'll give you 1 mark if you have the correct scale. So if you didn't manage to get any of these, then they'll give you 1 mark for getting the correct scale. Part B. A pupil is chosen at random from the group. What is the probability that the pupil preferred the Blues? So probability is total outcomes on the bottom and successful outcomes on the top of the fraction. So the total outcomes, well, we read that in the question, how many people were surveyed. So that's 170 on the bottom of the fraction. And then on the top is the successful outcome. So that's how many people preferred the Blues. So we can now see in our table, that's 50 people. So 50 out of 170 is the probability that the Blues, that someone picked would prefer the Blues. So this is a 2-mark question. The examiner will give you 2 marks straight away if you have 50 over 170, or 1 mark if you've got a fraction with a denominator, the bottom number is 170, or a fraction with the top number is 50.